sometimes it's nice to find something old, you know. And by old, I just mean something that is not cult of the new, something that's not just out, but is a little bit harder to find. And I like Fantasy Flight, kind of like classic Fantasy Flight. I haven't really focused on a lot of their new stuff, but this is Battlestar Galactica, the board game. This is out of print. This is hard to find, and when you do find it, it can be quite difficult. And it's also a game by Konieczka, who's like maybe my like instinctually favorite designer. If I'm just thinking of like someone who has created some of the most compelling titles to me, Forbidden Stars, Star Wars Rebellion, he worked on both of those. He's worked on this. He worked on Space Hulk Death Angel, which is right there off screen. He's just someone who makes games that I like, that I like a lot. His design, philosophy, aesthetic, like fingerprint, is on a lot of games that I really, really enjoy. So I'm excited to check this out. I traded a couple games to West for this. He was able to get his hands on 2 copies of it, along with a copy of Bus. He found a new in-shrink copy of Bus, like I did a while ago. And so he finally has a copy of Bus, which he's been hunting for a long time. He also got a copy of this. And there was this secondary one here, which has got a little bit of like damage. So this was not new in shrink. The reason why, I'm opening this without shrink is because it didn't have it, which is normal for a game that is out of print that's that old. And so I am super excited to check this out. It's in quite good condition. There's a few things here and there that just show age and wear, but that's normal. I mean, that's some of my favorite games have got some love to them, and that's totally fine. Like, your games are never going to always be in pristine condition if you're playing them. And so that is totally fine. This is the board. So I have played the game that Fantasy Flight kind of replaced with this one. So they kind of replaced just pure black, no artwork or anything. Fantasy Flight games kind of replaced this because they don't have the Battlestar Galactica license anymore. They replaced this with Unfathomable, which is inside their Arkham horror, Lovecraftian universe. I didn't like that game. I playtested that game. I didn't enjoy it. There were issues that I had with it. This, however, I am much more excited to try. I know that there are expansions to it, and people really like some of those expansions. I also know that those expansions are incredibly hard to get a hold of. However, I'm just excited to check this one out. So you've got this ship, and if you understand the world of Battlestar Galactica, I haven't really watched the show. I know that I have a lot of family and friends who have watched the show and really like it a lot. But part of what you're going for, so part of what you're going for in this game is the fact that you're trying to determine if the people around you are really human or if they are Cylons. I think it's Cylons. I think so. Let me see. Is the word Cylon on? Yep, Cylon. There we go. I got it right. So I don't know exactly how the mechanics of this work out, but if the game I played is any indication of what this might be, if Unfathomable is pretty well, based off of how the design of this, if that's the case, then it's probably going to be there's a destination that the ship is trying to get to, and along the way you will be trying to deal with the very real aggression of Cylon, not infiltrated on your ship, but just the Cylon fleet and the people there that are coming after you. And then you're going to be all of these different crew members, and as you try to deal with threats from the outside, you will also have to assess and deal with threats from the inside, where some of these crew members may not be who they say they are, and they may be some bad Cylons. And that kind of betrayer in your midst is, it's very familiar to several different types of games and to a full genre, but I'm just curious how it plays out here. Now, as I said, this is a used copy. This is, people have already owned this, and so all of these are in separate baggies, And then you've got over here, you've got the classic cardboard trough. Because what would this be without the classic cardboard trough? Now I don't know if it fits that way, but part of me kind of wants to see if I can make it go this way, because that way the Battlestar Galactica is like, the title is facing you whenever you open up the box, which kind of sounds nice. So you've got these tokens of crew members, and I guess that would be like where you are location-wise on the map. You've got all these cards, which I'm assuming take place with certain events, certain actions, things that you can do, and maybe locations that you're dropping off at. It's got all of these. Oh, I bet these are the actual people that you put on the map, because these are all the different minis, which or these standees look similar to Star Wars Rebellion if you played that with the leader tokens. And so this functions the same way there. And yeah, very curious to see how this plays out. I love this time period of Fantasy Flight games. I think that their designs at the time were just the best that they've had. It's the time period in which so many of my favorites came out. So I'm really excited to try this. I don't know much about this one, but I feel like it will maybe come pretty quickly to me, just based off of the fact that I have play tested the spiritual successor to this game. And that familiarity alone feels like this should be kind of like a no-brainer in terms of it feeling familiar. So we are going to try to very carefully, there we go. Yeah. And these are all dials that were in Unfathomable 2, and they're kind of ones that you have to keep track of, and you don't want any of them to go down to 0, and all of the things that happen can affect them. You have your fuel, your food, your morale, your population, the events that you go to. They definitely involve a lot of juggling, adapting to events, and anything that happens. And like the traitor that's in your midst, they can affect these things passively or actively, and then also the Cylons and other things, and just the natural progression of you being on a journey means that all of these are, in flux. So, Battlestar Galactica, traitors in your midst, pretty rare board game now to get your hands on, based off of the Battlestar Galactica IP, collaboration with Sci-Fi. Game by Konieczka. I can't wait to check it out. And I'm excited to see what my thoughts are. Do I feel the same way that I felt about Unfathomable? We'll see. Who knows? It's possible I'll feel the same way. It's also possible that I'll have a really good time because Corey did it. So I think I'll like it. We'll see. Battlestar Galactica, the board game. I'm excited. Thank you guys so much. Timestamp. Got to keep my throat talking good.